Hi, you're watching the 100 in 100, where we review 100 VR games in 100 days. For this one, we're looking at Axe Throw VR, one of the very few games in VR where you can throw axes at a lot of different things. So let's take a closer look at Axe Throw VR. Axe Throw VR is exactly what it sounds like in the name. You throw axes at targets, you throw axes at the undead, and you throw axes at anything that is in your environment in this game. Our VR Gear game review criteria covers all the aspects of the game that you'll care about before you decide to try or buy a new VR title. We'll walk you through what this game is all about, and you can decide for yourself whether or not it's worth buying once we're done. The first area we want to talk about is getting up and running with Axe Throw VR. This game is $6 on Steam, or it's part of the Viveport Infinity subscription for free. The download file is about 500 megabytes, and so it will take a few minutes for you to get the file on your computer and installed. After that, the normal launching of a VR title is going to be familiar to get this game up and running. The game menu is fairly straightforward, and there are 3 different game modes that allow you to play Axe Throw VR. There's arcade mode, there's practice mode, and zombie mode, where you're throwing axes at zombies who are coming at you. This game is an action casual game, which is the biggest oxymoron you can come up with, but it's casual because you can play it in a standing position. It's not a room scale game, but it's action because you're interacting with a fast-paced environment where zombies are coming at you and you need to throw axes to defend yourself or to eliminate the zombies. So, action, casual. You'll play this game in the first-person perspective, and you won't see much of your own avatar's body other than the hands, and in game setup, you'll see where to place your feet. But during gameplay, the only thing you'll see is your hands from the first-person perspective, and you'll see the axes that you're holding in those hands. The hands are green, and we're not sure if that means that you also are a zombie, or if you're the Hulk or something else that has green hands. But that's all you'll see. And this game definitely has a theme to it, but there isn't really a storyline that you can follow along as your character progresses through the different game types. The theme for the game is post-apocalyptic zombie apocalypse. You're going to die if you don't kill zombies. That's the theme. The story is, I don't think it matters. The game developers didn't really tell us, and once you're in the game, it doesn't really matter. All you know is that your job is to defend yourself by eliminating zombies with axes. The controls that we use while in gameplay actually worked really well. However, that's because we had outside-in tracking. We're using the Valve Index, which has the Lighthouse 2.0 trackers, so it doesn't matter if we put our hands behind our head or below our shoulders or out of view of the headset. You're going to run into some problems with this game when you're using headsets like the Rift S or the Cosmos, where the tracking is inside out. The game requires you to reach behind your head to grab axes, and the headsets can't track behind your head. And so you'll be reaching back and your hand will go flying in a direction that is unpredictable, and you won't be able to play the game very effectively. So this game's controls work great for outside-in tracking, not so much for the inside-out tracking on about half the headsets that are out there today. For music and sound in this game, we didn't really notice any music track at all. However, there are quite a few sound effects, including the sound of zombies who are approaching you, and there's a really good execution of spatial audio in this game so that you know which direction the zombies are coming from. You can hear the axe make contact, you can hear yourself grabbing the axe, and you're able to hear what zombies are doing, whether they're coming through a gate, over a wall, through the door. You can hear them walking. The spatial audio, along with the sound effects of this gory, gloomy environment, are really well done. However, there's no music. That would be additive, but the sound effects were fantastic. Moving around in this game only consists of ducking, dodging, and turning, but your feet won't leave their position the entire game, or at least they shouldn't. This is a standing game that allows you to experience everything the game has to offer without having to have a room scale set up. As far as interacting with the axes and throwing them, we saw some really interesting behavior when we would throw an axe high. Axes would fly up like a curving golf ball or a boomerang. So we don't quite understand the physics there. However, we are fighting zombies and we don't understand the physics or biology there either. So we aren't complaining that it is unnatural or weird. That was just something we observed that wasn't expected. As far as motion sickness goes in this game, you won't experience much of it at all. In fact, this game is a really great introductory game for people who are not used to motion in VR. In the game, you do not travel from your standing position, and the world doesn't move around you as if you are moving while in a standing position. And so the disorientation that comes from a moving visual world and a stationary real world that you're in, that doesn't happen here. And so you're not going to experience any of the motion sickness that typically accompanies some of the more aggressive and advanced games. The environment and the immersion of this game took a little bit of getting used to, and that mostly had to do with understanding how the axe was supposed to be thrown. It was temperamental at first. We weren't sure when to release to get the right effect. If you release too early, it goes really high. If you release too late, it just kind of thuds to the ground. And so getting just the right timing, it took some time. But once we figured that out and we were in the flow of the game, it was really immersive. The environment was convincing as far as an animated zombie game goes, but we were in the game, in the action, focused on really playing this one. All right, so the scorecard for Axe Throw VR. For theme and story, we're giving Axe Throw VR a 6 out of 10. That's because there wasn't really a story, but there was a very strong theme. So a 6 out of 10 for theme and story on Axe Throw VR. For controls, we're giving Axe Throw VR a 5 out of 10. The deduction comes from not thinking about the headsets that have inside-out tracking, and in those situations, the players will have a very difficult time controlling their environment, and the game is not designed to accommodate the inside-out headset tracker. The score for music and sound in this game is a 6 out of 10. Now, there wasn't music, as we said, but the sound effects were really great. The killing of zombies, the sound effects there was pretty gruesome, as it should be, and we're giving this one a 6 out of 10 for music and sound. For player movement, we're giving this game a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 comes from the ability to do quite a lot of moving while in a standing position. You can duck and dodge and move around quite a bit, but your feet can stay stationary. So player movement was really well done, even for a standing VR title like this. The motion sickness in this game was completely non-existent. We think this is a great introductory game to some themes that are a little bit more horror-based. So for motion sickness, or kinetosis, we're giving this one an 8 out of 10. For environment and immersion, this game is receiving a 7 out of 10. After you can figure out the controls and get the throwing of the axes just right, the rest of the game starts to really engulf you and you get into the flow. This game gets a 7 out of 10 for environment and immersion. All right, so Axe Throw VR. The overall score that we're giving Axe Throw VR is a 6.5 out of 10. It was a decent game. We had a lot of fun playing it. It's a really great introductory game for people who are new to VR and really don't want to get motion sick right out of the gate. So a 6.5 out of 10 for Axe Throw VR. Thanks for watching this one. This has been 100 in 100, where we are reviewing 100 VR games in 100 days. And click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified when we release another VR game review tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.